How's it going? It's Man Tomorrow here. I want to thank you guys for coming through. Hit a one in the chat if you can be able to hear me. All right, here we go. One thing I'm not going to do on this live stream is I am not going to play that video. Because one thing that I do not want to see is I don't want this dude to be seen as a victim at all. I want this dude to be seen as a willing participant. Because that's what he is, a willing participant. And people have to stop pretending that this dude wasn't on this stuff ever since he came down the escalator. Okay? When the dude came down the escalator saying that, certain versions of Latinos were rapists and robbers and all this kind of other stuff, he was doing it then. He was doing it this entire time. People forget at these rallies where that white dude punched that black dude who was getting escorted out of the actual event. People forgot about that. People forgot about the Muslim ban that was based on nothing, by the way. People forgot about that. People forgot about when he was talking to a group of police officers talking about rough them up, but not too much. People forgot about that. People forgot about the Second Amendment remedies. Every look around, a conservative is running some type of campaign commercial using this rhetoric. Because you have to understand that they have replaced the elephant with an actual flag of the AR-15 on it. That's what this is about. You see, the point is that he was always supposed to use this rhetoric, have his followers go after his enemies, but nobody was never supposed to come after him. And I'm not going to lie to you. This dude is adjudicated in court for making threats against judges, federal and state judges, local prosecutors. That's right. Doxing these people showing up to their house with guns and all this stuff. People forgot about all that stuff. How did they forget about all that stuff? How did they forget when Donald Trump, quote unquote, air quotes, mistakenly doxed Obama and somebody showed up to Obama's residence or nearest neighborhood in a van with a gun and a bunch of ammunition and some bombs? People forget about that. Yeah, what's going on, go?
Hey, what's up, MOT?
Yeah, what's going on, man? I'm just doing my intro real quick. But yeah, like people forgot about when Paul Pelosi had that hammer attack at their house, how Donald Trump and Don Jr. was making a mockery of that dude who could have clearly got killed. The hammer attack. People forgot about that.
And they
I'm
laughed
not sure
about it.
what people. Yes, they did.
Trump, they laughed about it. Yeah, how's Paul Pelosi doing right now? He's not doing too good, is he? They laughed. They laughed about it.
I remember when Sarah Palin was putting them crosshairs over districts, especially moderate districts in Arizona, and all of a sudden that crazy dude that looked like Glenn Beck ended up shooting her 3 times in the head, and I think it hitting her 7 times overall. There was no consequences for Sarah Palin.
Gabby Gifford, she put a hit on her, basically. Crazy
Yeah.
man went, shot Gabby Gifford in the head. She was very lucky that she actually survived, but survived a brain shot. And had to give up her office because she wasn't competent enough to handle it after she had a damaged brain from a bullet to her skull.
All right. Nobody asked. Like, what I don't like is the both sides need to calm down. Both sides need to calm down with the rhetoric. Both sides? This stuff is pretty one-sided to me. There
I
is no
mean,
such thing as a both sides in there. There is no both sides in
they they've been very obvious. And then you look at groups. I mean, let's take a look from Charlottesville. Literally,
there.
both sides with Charlottesville. Jews will not replace us. They're walking around with tiki torches. All right. A woman was killed by somebody driving a car into the crowd. I mean, these are the things these people are talking about. I was on a live stream just the other day with another on a group, and I had this one brother sitting here saying how these guys were. They had a congressman who was shot at, some years ago, but yet has literally did not want to sit down here and talk about the myriad attacks that we've seen. Didn't talk about the Pelosi and all that. Didn't talk about any of this stuff going on. No one talked about the gunshot that actually hit a White House window when Obama was in office.
Yes.
And they played that down. They actually shot at him at the White House. And how many attacks potentially were thwarted from those mad folks that were on that side that encompassed many of the
Ricin
people that
attack
are
sent through the mail
rising
a couple times.
on a regular and consistent basis. So these are the things that you see consistently coming from the right wing, and there's so many others that are here, and the environment that they've cooked up. Yeah, civil war. We need civil war, and I've even heard this
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
white
Second Amendment
manospheres.
remedies.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean they constantly talk this mess, and yeah, well, these liberals, we just need to, we just need to start shooting them, and I mean, you've got this guy Richardson, this black madman in North Carolina in a church blaspheming, saying we need to kill some of these people.
With
Can
the
you
Ten
believe
Commandments in a church, broad
in a
daylight,
church?
in front of camera, knowing
It,
he's
it,
being recorded and said this.
This man should have went up in flames at that moment, but yet here he is sitting here saying this in a church. Unbelievable. So this is the rhetoric we hear, and and some of the stuff that we see coming from these people. They want to talk about Black Lives Matter. They burnt a whole lot of stuff. Black Lives Matter burnt a whole lot of towns down. Well, I can show you on the video. You want to pull those videos up and show us where all this went on? We did. There was definitely how would you say, protests, but burning down cities. People are upset because of what happened with George Floyd, which
Yep.
which went international around the world. That's what really helped to bring some of this down. Was and help to bring this guy, help to bring that animal, that beast to justice. And Black Lives Matter all over the place, and people were upset because it was being successful. That's what folks were mad about. That right wing and those right wings were mad about that. So this man sat here and talked all this violence, laughed once again, laughed about Pelosi. Now a bullet grazed past his ear by one of his own people that we now know,
Yes.
well, not his own people, but we know is a Republican. Definitely Republican. No, well, he gave some money to the liberals, and the liberals got it. These morons talking out of the sides of their ass don't know what the hell they're talking about. Let's take a look at what really has been going on. They've gone into this kid's class. They've talked to his classmates. They see that this guy is an absolute
Trump signs in the yard and everything, man. Like this dude was who he was.
he was who he was. You can't lie about it. But yet, he had some issue with him. So at the end of the day, he went for him because he said it's okay. Since you all talk about killing and murdering, it's okay to go after this guy. You cultivate that environment. Don't get mad because it came back on you. The guy came back and shot the person who helped to build a lot of this stuff up. That's what happened. The man who sat here and talked about a lot of craziness, looked to divide the nation, it came back on him. The chickens came back to roost. Came back to roost right on his head. Thank God it didn't come over another half of an inch, because we'd be having a eulogy over this man as opposed to the people sitting here feeling sorry for him.
Hey, after watching that thing a couple of times, you know what saved him? Because that bullet was right on the mark. What saved him was him turning to that jumbotron and going on immigrants. If he had not have done that, that guy would have died.
It would have definitely finished him. Oh, he's not and he's not a conservative because he missed him. I heard some fool say this the other day. They just missed him, so that's the reason why he's a liberal. I mean, the madness of these people talking. It's incredible. I mean, you can't even argue with some of this stuff. You can't even argue with these people. The news is coming out. We know who this guy was now. We know who.
But you have to understand. But before we get Renaissance in here, but you have to understand they have been playing this game, no matter what the situation was. This was just another thing to lie about. And I guarantee you, the former president will say this is Antifa or this is Black Lives Matter at some point. He's going to go back to the greatest hits. He doesn't really have any choice.
Yeah.
What's going on, Renaissance?
RM.
Hey, what's up? Greatest hits, yeah. Yeah. No, that it was like I said, the media is not really tried to put it where it needs to lie. They'll be like, oh, we need to turn the temperature.
They're not prepared to have the conversation, man. They can't. They need these people coddled to the point to where I mean, the most of them just say is both sides. Both sides need to calm down. Like this right here is some of that Tim Russert BS. You know, that both sides need to calm down. Even though this stuff is pretty one-sided, both sides need to put in and do their job. Okay.
I mean, we've seen what's going on. We've looked at the attacks. We've seen who's getting attacked. I mean, literally, and we saw Trump literally laughing at Pelosi's husband, getting his brain smashed in. Oh, I guess he didn't build the wall high enough. Had that wall doing for him. Ha, 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 ha. And there's people laughing, you know. But now, God forbid anybody says anything about the president that almost got his wig peeled by one of his own people. All right. We're supposed to feel sorry for him. You know, I am.
Nah, man, this dude was a willing participant in his own destruction. Now,
he cultivated the environment. It came back.
Yes, he did. And he's responsible for that person who died at that rally. He's also responsible for that person who got those two people who got critically injured. I'm not sure what they were doing at those rallies. But at this point in time, I don't think that there could I mean, there's some legitimate questions that need to be asked, man. Like, number one, was any of these rallies ever safe? Butler's not a big place. That building was right adjacent to the stage, 130 yards away. There ain't no way that guy should. I'm glad that he's not trained, but at the end of the day, can we do rallies anywhere anymore in the wide open? Can we do it anywhere in the wide open anymore? I don't think we can, because if you can't secure a small town, I'm not sure if you can ever do this stuff in the wide open again. I don't think you can. And I think this is a great thing that they're not going to be able to spin, because it wasn't an illegal immigrant. It wasn't some transgendered athlete. It wasn't, run down the list of denizens. Wasn't a gang member. Wasn't a black person. It was somebody who was from a very small town and one of their people, registered as one of their people. So you can't really get out of that. And they're trying to spin it. But here's the thing. There's nothing to spin. The dude's dead. There's really going to be not even that much investigation outside of ransacking that dude's house. He has scant online presence, so pretty much the actual investigation is over. Everybody's looking for a motive. I'm like, look, the dude was crazy. He didn't have his stuff together. He wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. That's what happened.
But he was staunchly conservative, and people are saying, well, he was been giving money to these guys for a long time. What are you talking about? The kid's 20 years old. He gave $15 when he was, it's supposedly when he was 17, wasn't even able to vote. How many people voting at 17? Okay, let's get the facts straight here. Kid was 17 years old. All right, and that's the situation. So here you have it, a young white male, these white males, okay, who are extreme gunmen going into all kind of places, shooting people up and tearing folks out the frame routinely. All right, they haven't properly addressed that inside their own demographic. They don't address these people properly. And then
They
here it
checked
is again,
nearly
and
every
this is
checkbox
ridiculous.
mark got checked. White, rural area, grew up in the AR-15, had the AR-15 gear shirt on, you
Yep.
know, registered Republican. What
Yep.
else do you need to say? I mean, you got what you got,
and, and
right?
and was and was part of a of a website or a group that was a gun group, a conservative gun group that he was wearing. So he had all the gear and stuff on. So this is what was going on.
Yeah. MOT. I just dropped the first link in the back chat. I just wanted to, if people haven't seen this, if you could pull it up. This is who opened up the RNC convention, or one of the speakers.
I mean, if you're on a computer, I'm not. I'm on my phone.
No, it's in the
No, I am on my phone during the live stream, so I can't pull up these links.
Oh, okay. Hold up.
So if you have it, I could just add it, and we could just look at it.
Let me get on my computer. Hold up.
He sure was. They let that dude run around after killing a couple of people. Didn't even try to stop him. Let him on through.
That's what they got going on. They don't want to admit that. So will Trump get a bump from some of this? Yeah, he'll get somewhat of a bump.
Temporarily. But it's not
People,
going to last because his behavior is going to return back to normal. Because you have to remember, his rallies are nothing but rage rallies. He don't talk about any type of policies or what he's going to do for these people. None of that stuff. He's never done that in none of these rallies. And this
nobody.
is why these rallies was meant to go into small ass towns and talk down to these people and make them feel comfortable.
And also, don't forget, what about that one brother that was at a rally a couple of years ago and got elbowed in the face by some old white man? Walked up to him,
Yeah,
bang, hit him, get him on
yeah,
out of
punch in
here.
his face.
50 years ago, we would have killed somebody like that. He's been actively talking violence, and then it came back on him. It came back on the source. Came back on him. There's been a lot of violence going on.
You can't get any better than what has happened here. He didn't die. Obviously, you won't be able to campaign no more. Now you got to be reasonable from here to the election. When you have not been reasonable, not one single second since you came down that escalator. This deflates the entire campaign. And I mean, we don't even have to talk about. I mean, but we are. The JD Vance situation that brings absolutely nothing to the ticket.
Well, it brings somebody who basically is a MAGA guy. This guy's more MAGA than Trump. So they bring this. This is a MAGA guy that he has in there that's gonna Stay in there, play it just, play it the way that they like. Um, and he's not a Pence type of guy. He's different, so that's what. And he's young, so he's a young guy. So, this is almost also a play to what I would think to 2028 as well. But that's and apparently he doesn't really need him as far as Trump is concerned, and what this does is coronate MAGA and Trump as the Republican Party now. So this is the Republican Party, where the middle of the road kind of conservatives you may have had in the party, or the staunch, real conservative right wing Republicans, are being kind of edged out by MAGA and the MAGA extremists, and this is what this individual represents. So this is now totally Trump's party. That's what this really represents. This is Trump's party.
Yeah, for now. It is for now. I mean, for the foreseeable future until he passes, this is his party.
Yeah. Yeah, this is his party. This is what this is going to represent. So, he doesn't bring to the table, or balancing the ticket per se. That's not what he's looking for right now. They're looking to control, have their party, have the MAGA party, and that's it. And they have their demographic. They don't need these Negroes or anything else that they have here. They don't need them. So that's how these guys are really looking at it.
Again, about 5:38. I don't trust these polls. At the end of the day, nobody is polling independents, undecideds, or moderates, because I don't see the independents, undecideds, or moderates swinging this way. And they repeatedly never poll these people for some reason. I think they try to keep it hyper partisan to keep this horse race nonsense going. But if 1 in 5, the Republicans are not going to vote for him, and the independents, moderates, undecideds are not going to swing his way, I don't see this race even being all that close.
They've got to turn over a good 6-7 million people really to really turn this thing around, as opposed to what happened in the last election. That's not MAGA that he's going to be pulling. He's got to really pull from, as you said, that kind of middle of the road crowd. That's what he's really got to pull from. And that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand. Oh, he's got a quick bump. He's good. He's won the election. What are you people talking about? Are you looking at the math? Are you looking at the numbers here currently? We have all the prognostic. We have these prognosticators here. Nate Silver has been wrong. His 538. He's been wrong over the last 2 elections, the midterms, and everything. He's been wrong on that. All right, he's been wrong. So Nate Silver and them are not looking as good. They're not looking as good as they looked back in 2019, 2020. So they're not looking. They haven't been looking that good. So here we are, prognosticating with a lot of people who just are not on top of the game, and the numbers are not really coming through. So what we're looking at right now, from the last poll that I just saw today, they had Trump up by 1 point. So even this incident has not really pulled it. It definitely has motivated his base more. So his base is motivated. We know that, and we see the darks over here in the manosphere and so forth, and in these other and black YouTube who are running around, sucking his kneecaps. We got that, but they're insignificant. They're not going to be a significant number to this. We have to look at. We really do have to look at what the middle of the road people are the undecideds, which is a pretty small number right now, I would think.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, so once the Democratic convention is over, I think you're going to see a congealment of the actual polls, but I want to see the polls of the actual independents, undecideds, moderates, and low information people. because they're going to start paying attention alongside when the Democratic convention is over. That's when the general population really focuses in on the race. I don't think that these ads that they're going to make is going to sway anybody one way or another. I think everybody is where they're already at, whether they lie to these polls or not.
Yeah, yeah. So so the Trump base is motivated. So you got their base motivated. The Democrats are going to do what the Democrats are going to do, and the independents, who are the biggest group, that's who you're really going to have an effect on. That's who you're going to have
I
to
can't
change.
see people as an independent or a moderate seeing all these court cases getting thrown out for BS reasons. We need to talk about that. This Eileen Cannon thing is not over. It is dismissed, but they get to appeal the dismissal up to the appeals court and then to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
Um,
that is correct. I was talking with my cousin today and some of my other fraternity brothers, and they're attorneys. I mean, legitimate attorneys, not guys who call themselves paralegals and all this other whack stuff with felonies on them and stuff. I'm talking about real guys who are saying that this appeal is it's something that they're going to move towards, and let's see how that really looks in the appellate court. This is going to be very interesting to see, because this is a decision that we've not seen before.
no, that's just where we at, because dude, this Eileen Cannon thing is weird. She waited until she had a reason to dismiss the case. Oh, that looks weird, man. That looks weird. That looks really weird. Okay, so you didn't have a reason to drop the case before. You know that there are special counsel. Like Joe Biden had a special counsel for him in this record situation. This just happened. Hunter Biden had to have a special counsel for him, which is still ongoing, by the way, because you have to have his California case coming up. You just can't line item declare every special counsel unconstitutional. That's just crazy. Like you can't, especially when you have ongoing special counsels across all 50 states. You can't just declare every special counsel unconstitutional. Or like she wrote her actual decision just to say she didn't have jurisdiction in every other case, but there shouldn't have been a special counsel that was even appointed in this case. And it's like, what about Robert Mueller? That was a special counsel. So you just can't come through and just say special counsels are not constitutional this far down into the past. I mean, hold on a second. Your Renaissance. It's just that you can't go around doing this, man. Waiting for an opportunity, then just say that, oh, well, we don't think the special counsel should have been appointed in the first place. That's crazy, man. On top of the Supreme Court, making it so that you can't use any evidence, even if it is an official act, as motive, so that way you can turn it from an official act to a non-official act. That's also crazy. I don't know, man. What's your opinion, Nigo, on all this? Hold on a second. I understand. Went to sleep. Hold on. All right, there we go. What's going on, Keith Smith? Man, Renaissance keep unplugging and replugging back in. All right, Renaissance, you fine, man?
Yeah, I think I got it working now. I had to update my browser.
Okay, cool. Just play them in the order that you want to play them. Once you share the screen, I'll just bring that screen up. I can do that for my phone. All right, hold on a second. And what is this we're about to see here?
So this is Mark Robinson. He is the speaker.
In the church.
Yeah, well, he's also, because everyone's been saying both sides. He is going to be speaking at the DNC convention, where I think you already spoke, and he is the current lieutenant governor of North Carolina, and he will also
running for the governorship.
Yeah, he's running for the governor. So I'm going to play this short clip. This is what he said about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, since it's both sides that be who engage in all this violent rhetoric.
There was a time when we used to meet evil on the battlefield, and guess what we did to it? We killed it. We didn't quibble about it. We didn't argue about it. We didn't fight about it. We killed it. Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad. Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it. It's not a matter of vengeance. It's not a matter of being mean or spiteful. It's a matter of necessity. It's time to call out those guys in green and go have them handled. It was a time when we used to meet evil on the battlefield.
Yeah. So that's the first clip.
Man, that dude was trying real hard, man. Like, bro, people were lost. Man, that dude's trying real hard.
That is a sitting lieutenant governor. That's like, when people say, "Oh, it's both sides," like, that's why I'm like, can someone find me someone on the left standing in a church with a cross behind them saying we need to start killing people?
Unbelievable. And he was losing like most of the people who was there. Yes, he could. But that he was trying real hard with that statement, though. Man, he was trying to sound legitimate. So take this clip down. Renaissance, you got the next clip?
Yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna load it real quick.
All right. Yes, he is running for governor of North Carolina. I'm saying, I mean, like, it's hard to feel sorry for people who show up in this crowd and listen to this nonsense. Like, I don't see these people as victims at all. Like, they know what they're actually are showing up for. They know these people are crazy and unhinged. There's no real reason for you to be in this crowd. Waiting on Renaissance to get the next clip up here so that way we can react to that too. It looked like Tanya Chutkan is supposed to get this case back sometime toward the middle of September. And then we're going to see how she's going to be able to jump through all these new legal hurdles that the Supreme Court has put in there so that way Trump can be prosecuted for the actual January 6th stuff. Since now everything the president do seems to be an official act all of a sudden, which has never been the case before. And go, you still there?
Yeah, okay, my bad. Okay, about to share this one out next.
All right.
Merrick Crichton's Navy SEAL, and today we're going rhino hunting. The rhino feeds on corruption and is marked by the stripes of cowardice. Join the MAGA crew. Get a rhino hunting permit. There's no bagging limit, no tagging limit, and it doesn't expire until we save our country. Merrick Crichton's Navy. Everyone also remembers that because I fought for you, they came after me. Well, we're back. Wiser, stronger, still fighting. And this time with an army of patriots. We're back.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is a whole thread of where they just posted all of these ads coming from the right. Like whether it be rhino hunting, you know, people talking about, hey, there was one I think I saw down there where they were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene's got one in here. I'm gonna go see if I can look for that one. It's just a whole thread of how, you know, people want to say both sides, and I'm just like, look, like I said, look at the first clip I just showed you, and then look at these.
Like I said before, man, I have no respect for people who weaponize their military service.
Trump and the MAGA agenda. Joe Biden and his corrupt allies are wrecking our legal system, doing everything they can to stop President Trump and the MAGA agenda. It's time for a Missouri Attorney General who will return fire.
Trump attorney Will Scharf.
As President Trump's attorney and as a former federal prosecutor, I've fought Joe Biden and locked up hardened criminals. Now, I'm ready to fight for Missouri.
President Trump's attorney Will Scharf, Republican for Attorney General.
They just can't give it up, can they? Could you actually go to the Lincoln project, that where they could play that ad that they made for JD Vance, all the crazy stuff that he said about Trump?
Wait, there's
That
one
is
for
actually
Lincoln.
true.
Oh, there's
Yes.
one for the Lincoln Project. Okay, let me look for it.
You had that drop today. Unbelievable. But it's the left who has this sick obsession with guns. Yeah, it's both sides that need to calm down. It's like every time you look around, you have some ex-military clown who's trading off their military service in front of a bunch of serviceless people. It really something. You never see any of these Navy SEAL guys fighting for anything that's good. They're never fighting for any type of increase of veterans benefits. Every time you see them, they always try to use their military service to actually promote themselves. It is sick, sad, and disgusting, and it always seems to be on the right.
And they're constantly talking violence.
Constantly.
Let's start shooting people. That's what I'm saying. The bullets came back on the guy talking about violence the most. I could shoot somebody in Midtown Manhattan, and I can get away with it, I'm sure, right, guys? It's kind of stuff this man was saying.
Wait, MOT, this one, you said it came out today.
Well, maybe, it was about JD Vance, some of the things he said.
Let me see. I see a couple of them. Hold on.
The great thing is that they're not going to be able to weaponize this assassination.
They're going to do all they can to do it.
No, but they can't, because there's not going to be any more actual rallies. There's not going to be any more rallies.
Yeah.
And that means that Trump and JD Vance, two people who's not known for talking about policy, has to now talk about policy in a non-threatening and non-violent. Both of them are not privy or even.
All right. Let me see if this one's it.
JD Vance thinks you are stupid, that he can fool you. When the opioid crisis struck Ohio, what did JD Vance do?
Things that I care most about are the opioid crisis.
He went to work for the drug dealers. His law firm lobbied for Purdue Pharma, the people who peddled Oxy to America.
I'm okay with that.
JD Vance created a scam charity to fight opioid abuse. They called him the Rust Belt Fraud.
Part of me wonders, do they think I just give off a used car salesman vibe?
What kind of man helps the drug company that has destroyed thousands of Ohio families? JD Vance, a phony, a fraud, and a liar. His hillbilly elegy ended when he made millions and bought a mansion in San Francisco.
I was looking for my way out.
JD Vance is laughing at you, laughing at Ohio.
How could I not be?
With JD Vance, the joke's on us.
The Lincoln Project paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
You're the one in light blue. If that's the one.
Wait, say that again?
Yeah, President Trump is going to win Ohio. And like he did the last time. I'm not sure what bringing JD Vance onto the ticket is going to do for him.
It's not supposed to really do much. Just to galvanize the MAGA base. Further galvanize it. He doesn't bring much to the table. He just doesn't. Like I said, once again, he's a MAGA. He's more MAGA than Trump. That's what he is.
Oh, I just don't get what he brings to the table. You go to Ohio, You don't bring an even right-wing person. You're supposed to do the partisan stuff in the actual campaign. Then you're supposed to run toward the middle after you pick your VP pick, who's also in the middle, who's also a moderate. That's always been the formula. But I think he's going back on that formula, thinking that this is a Mike Pence situation. So I need to find somebody even, more to the right than he is and pick that guy. I'm like, hey man, this is a whole different situation.
You see, Mike Pence is not supporting him. A lot of those guys that are really hardcore Republicans who are staunch conservatives and so forth, evangelicals and so forth who are like that, are not really down with Trump like that. They're not down with him like that. And see, these guys can't seem to understand that. Like, these manosphere dudes and some of these other Negroes running around out here. They can't reason through that. They can't see that properly. They're not down with part. That's part of schism. That's why you see this guy with the gun, man, trying to split Trump's wig. A young crazy idealist. But these guys can't really see that closely. But what this guy JD is an MOT. I told you earlier today that they were going to.
This is the ad.
I said they were going to grab this guy, and that's who they grabbed. And he's a MAGA guy. They don't want another Pence. It's the last thing this guy's looking for. He don't want a Pence. He wants MAGA all day long. MAGA. Somebody who's like him, the hardcore, true Republican conservative, does not see Donald Trump as truly one of them. You have to understand that. A lot of these guys, they keep missing that. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I found the one you were talking about, MOTS. So I'm gonna play this one now.
Yep, this is the one.
For President Donald J. Trump
And JD Vance.
Terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him. Might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible.
But I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place. He's leading our political discourse to a very negative place. If Trump is elected president, he has to be a much different president than he was a candidate. As a candidate, he was fundamentally divisive, arrogant. I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
For President Donald.
So how they going to be able to shop that guy around? Like, Trump got some epic humiliation ritual ready for that. That's about that. This guy is about to go around and make all never Trumpers look super crazy. I'm here for it. I'm telling you. It's no different than putting Steve Schmidt or Bill Kristol on the ticket at this point. I agree. He has never been. He's been a true con man the entire time. But it's conservative. That's why you have to put conservatives on the actual ticket. Because he's definitely not conservative.
You got to look at it. MAGA is not a true conservative. They're not true conservatives. They've taken over the party. But the true conservatives, you got the people like Mitt Romney and these guys. You've got a lot of these knuckleheads outside of the main sitting there calling these guys rhinos. They wouldn't know a rhino if it crawled up their ass and bit them. They wouldn't even know what a rhino is. They can't even define what that is. They just say it.
I don't understand how you run an entire party over angst against other marginalized groups that don't have power. I don't know how you run a nationwide campaign like that. I mean, like the last nationwide campaign like that actually won was George W. Bush the second term, where he put bans on the ballot everywhere. He won in all those swing states because of it. I don't think there's an actual unifying issue that Trump could really run on like that, especially not now. The economy is good. Unless you were never part of the economy in the first place, like some of these people complaining on.
Yeah.
Wait, got another one, MOT.
Oh, Tea Party was definitely not concerned.
The Tea Party, to a large extent, most of these guys that came about, these guys were a reaction to Obama.
Yes,
they were reactionary to Obama. What these guys are running on is blankitude, whiteness, gray boyness, grays. That's what that is. That's what much of this is fueling a lot of this. These Negroes here don't really understand that. I mean, they kind of miss it, because they put a couple out there to front their gang. They think these guys have some kind of an option with them. There's no option. But anyway, we don't need to get into that. But still, the Tea Party and these guys were reactionary to Obama. Much of what you're seeing here is very much reactionary to the whole Obama deal. So that's a lot of what you're dealing with.
Yes, most of those so-called independents, right? They were not independents at all. They had to scratch that Bush Cheney 04 off of their damn truck. Like, yeah, them dudes were not really, not at all. But go ahead.
Okay. This is an old video. This one's like 8 years ago. Of all the times Trump has called for violence at his rallies.
Nice.
Violence. Knock the crap out of them. Like to punch him in the face. I don't condone violence, and I don't talk about violence. I would have done well, but I would have been boom, boom, boom. I'll beat that.
I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will.
Maybe he should have been roughed up because it was absolutely disgusting what he was doing. If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Try not to hurt him. If you do, I'll defend you in court. Don't worry about it.
In the good old days, this doesn't happen because they used to treat them very, very rough. And when they protested once, they would not do it again so easily. We become weak.
And you know what? The audience swung back. And I thought it was very, very appropriate. The audience hit back. And that's what we need a little bit more of now.
Part of the problem and part of the reason it takes so long is nobody wants to hurt each other anymore, right?
I don't know if I would have done well, but I would have been out there fighting, folks. I don't know if I would have done well, but I would have been boom, boom, boom. I'll beat that.
Do you plan on paying for the legal fees of this older gentleman in North Carolina who sucker punched the protester?
From what I understand, he was sticking a certain finger up in the air. And that is a terrible thing to do in front of somebody that, frankly, wants to see America made great again.
It's possible you could help him with legal fees if this man needs it.
I've actually instructed my people to look into it, yes.
So here he is talking about a guy who raised his hands, didn't hit anybody, but yet it's okay to assault him. All right. Now, folks are sitting there saying, "Oh my God, it's the liberals that tried to shoot Trump in the head." These fools walking around talking this crap with their own right winger who took all of that negativity put out there and said, "Well, it's time to maybe actually go upside your head." And these folks are having a hard time with that now. They're having a hard time with that. They can't deal with that reality. They can't deal with it.
It's crazy, man. But for some reason, both sides do
it. Both sides. Yeah.
Can you imagine Obama running down a super clip like that of things that he said and tried to threaten people and all that kind of stuff? Dude, it ain't possible.
No black man who is going to rerun the country like this is going to do that. That's craziness. I mean, with our legacy of dealing with ferocious violence from some of the most savage from some of the most savage two-legged dogs that have ever walked, we're not inclined. We're not inclined for that. That's something that's not a part of our spiritual arc here in this country. We don't really pull that. That's not what we're about. These guys are. These people are. And that's why you see what they do. They're doing that to each other. They're doing that to each other. Here's a Republican on their side of the fence who damn near twisted the violence purveyor's wig. This is not strange. It's right in line with what should be happening. I'm sorry. You know, and I'm not down for the violence like that. But these guys are.
But he set it up for it to happen. Literally did set.
But he cultivated the environment.
Everybody else but him.
He cultivated the environment, and it came back on him. The chickens came home to roost. That's what happened. And if he didn't turn his head when he was talking about those immigrants, he would have died.
And he was in the middle of talking more shit about him.
Talking mad-ish. But, you know, and he'll go right back to it. He'll go right back to it.
He can't help himself, man. He can't help himself.
You will see him go
right back to it. Look at the first tweet that he made. It was about bring the country together, drop all of my cases and charges. I didn't rape XYZ woman. I didn't have sex with a porn star. It's like all the greatest hits. All of them.
That's what he
all the greatest hits. All at the same time. And it's like, dude, don't you realize that people are watching this stuff? They know you're going to say something crazy out of your mouth as soon as you get ready to open it. And now you can't have rallies. Rallies was his lifeblood. He can't do rallies no more.
And this is the big piece here. At some point, he's going to have to get up off of all that crapola and really start talking about policy and what he's really going to do.
He's not going to be able to do it.
What is he really going to be able to do? What is going to be fundamentally, critically different than what he had going in his first term? That was disastrous. He could not deal with the biggest challenge of his presidency. He failed and lost his job because of it. A lot of people have forgotten.
You know what?
And now he wants to come back.
Trying to go. I slightly disagree. He is good at a good economy and turning it into a bad economy. So if he is running for president, he's running for president to take full credit for the economy that he did build, and then he's going to subsequently destroy it and point toward the president. So it's the reason why it's destroyed. He did the same thing to Obama. He did the same thing.
Yeah, and people don't want to people want to forget about that. It's forgotten. Okay. COVID is, they consider COVID done. So that's behind us. Let's move on to new stuff. I haven't heard any policy or anything coming at him besides some amorphous border deal that Biden had put forth, and then he, told his Congress and so forth to stop the bill, stop that from passing, and then, what's he gonna put in place? What else? What is he truly running on? He has not even made a case for what he's even running on. Besides, some people saying, "Hey, you're the last white man. You're the last true white man of America that's running." What is this guy really going to be running on? What's he really going to be talking about? I'm still waiting to hear.
Dude, he's been running a whole campaign against the people that he does not like. He is incapable of trying to bring people together, except for the means of violence. He can't really do it for any other reason. He can't.
No, there's a lot of game zone left. He's lucky. He's lucky he survived what he helped to produce. He's lucky he survived it. Let's see what these guys produce going down the road. All right.
And all this idle speculation about this guy, other than he's a registered Republican and he was pretty much a loner and unhinged guy, he wanted to go out with in the hell of, that's it. There's nothing else to say about this guy. That's all. There's nothing else left to say about him. He's gone. This investigation is not going to go much further. And you're not going to know anything more than you already know. And sometimes people are just crazy and there ain't no explanation that need to be needed and done with this. This is what happens when you leave this idle rhetoric in front of people and lots of access to ammunition and guns. You want to take the gun and go use this consumer product in a way that can clearly be used in all other types of application, but you want to use it in this type of application as well. Just crazy. You pay for it immediately. So, that said, y'all got anything else before we get up out of here?
Nah.
Hey, MOT, thanks for inviting me up.
All right, cool. Renaissance man?
Nah. I like I said, the main thing is I just want to put some things out there that show, hey, this both sides narrative is absolutely ridiculous. We all know what side has been responsible for the violence. There's actually data that shows the far right. You know, it's come out now. This kid was a registered Republican. They said he wore a Trump shirt to the school. He was a conservative. There were Trump signs in his yard, as well as he was associated. The shirt he was wearing was associated with one of these gun right pages on YouTube. So I don't see how, you know, this is a both sides thing, or like, you know, who was it? I think it's Mike Johnson was saying, oh, we need to turn down the rhetoric, and people were saying, oh, well, Democrats are responsible for saying this guy's a threat to democracy, which he is. He is a threat to democracy. He still has not conceded that he lost in 2020, and he still has not said if he will accept the election results in 2024. So, and he's
been empowered to do crazy things, even if he does win. And
yeah. So, no, like I said, this stuff was something that was brought on him. He has to take responsibility for it, and be lucky that he's still, be grateful that he's still here. So that's all I got.
I mean, but it took the biggest feather out of his cap, which is doing these rallies. Now he can't do these rallies no more. Now he has to talk about policy. He's incapable of doing that. And bringing JD Vance on, I've never heard JD Vance talk about policy, like ever.
No Republicans really got much on policy. That's why you're fighting culture wars with these people constantly. So,
come on, Michael Merriweather, man. No one can have dissenting views. No one has ever said that at all. No one has ever said that. So with that said, I want to thank you guys for coming through on the Man Tomorrow. You guys have a really nice rest of y'all night.